Thanks for joining us tonight on News 4 at 6. I'm Jessica Bowman. Matt Breen is on assignment. The Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation just confirming to KTIV Schultz's identity within the past hour. The Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation says a man called the Sac County Sheriff's Office around 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon to report he discovered a body in a field northeast of Sac City. The DCI says his body was found in a field at 190th Street and Union Avenue in rural Sac County. That's near where his abandoned truck was found last November with his cell phone and wallet still inside. The DCI says it used dental records to identify Schultz. Preliminary autopsy results show no obvious signs of trauma or serious injury. They don't believe foul play was involved in his death. KTIV's Connor Trett was back in Sac County this morning to speak with Sarah Schultz and a leader from one of the volunteer search organizations that helped after his disappearance.
I'm in Sac County in the general area where the body of David Schultz is believed to have been found Wednesday afternoon by a local farmhand. His wife Sarah spoke with the media Thursday morning to talk about the 5-month-long search finally coming to an end.
And he grabbed my hand and said, "I know you've been through a lot." And the sheriff called.
Wednesday afternoon, Sarah Schultz's boss was the one to break the news that the search for her husband was over.
So I knew he'd been found. Like this day I've been dreading but hoping, at the same time would come, and it finally came, and it was surreal.
Sarah says that she's leaned on her support system since David disappeared, and that support has only grown since his body was found.
People are already wanting to stop by and stuff, and they haven't forgotten. I have several messages and calls, and they'll continue. Yeah, I have a really good support system.
The search for David Schultz began November 21st, the same day his truck was found abandoned. The discovery of his body and the condition it was in has raised some questions.
I don't know anything about decomposition, but I feel like he was out there for 5 months, and there's animals, vultures, coyotes. And from what they made it sound, that nothing was missing on him. He wasn't just bones. So I don't understand how that can be.
Jacob Rowley with the search group United Cajun Navy also has questions about the condition of Schultz's body.
And we did have a very unusually warm winter this year. I mean, I think everybody knows we didn't get near the snow we've had in the past and near the cold weather and freezing weather that we've had. And so, decomposition should have happened. So, if the body doesn't line up with decomposition, then I would venture to guess that it hadn't been there for 5 months.
In Sac County, Iowa, Connor Trett, KTIV News 4.
Now, the search for David Schultz began 5 months ago. Tonight, we take a look back at those search efforts. 53-year-old David Schultz went missing November 21st after leaving his home in Wall Lake, Iowa. He was on his way to pick up a load of pigs from a hog confinement near Eagle Grove, Iowa, and take them to Sac City. It's confirmed that he did pick up the pigs and was seen on camera driving his truck past a truck stop east of Fort Dodge. Now, cell phone data shows his phone traveled to a rural intersection north of Sac City. That's where authorities found his truck November 21st with his cell phone and wallet inside, but no sign of Schultz. That's when months of intense searches began with law enforcement and volunteers. That included a crew from the United Cajun Navy searching more than 100,000 acres of Sac County for any sign of Schultz. The Sac County Sheriff's Office even offered a reward of more than $27,000 for information leading to his whereabouts. This week,